Hi, boys and girls. I wanted to surprise you with a read aloud today. That's called Maddi's Fridge. It's written by Lois Brandt. When Sophia and Maddi played at the park, they stretched their toes to the sky. They climbed to the top of the ladder and flew off the end of the slide. They stayed until the buildings grew long shadows and even the taxis stopped honking. "Let's play on the climbing wall," Maddi said. "No way," Sophia said. "I can't reach." "Yes way." Maddi scooted up to the top of the wall. "Your turn." Sophia put a foot on the bottom rock, grabbed with one hand, and stretched, but she couldn't reach the next hold. Sophia's stomach growled, "I give up. Let's get a snack." "No way," Maddi said. "Let's stay here." "Yes way." Sophia ran to Maddi's building and raced up the stairs. "Wait!" Maddi ran after her. Maddi was the best climber, but Sophia was the fastest runner. Sophia swung open the door of Maddi's fridge. "What have you got?" "We have milk," Maddi said. "I'm saving it for Ryan. He's still little." "Why doesn't your mom go to the store?" Sophie asked. "We don't have enough money." "But what if you get hungry?" "Oh, we have some bread," Maddi said. "I guess I'll go home to eat," Sophia said. "Please don't tell anyone," Maddi said. Okay. Promise?" "I promise." Sophia ran home past the bookstore and the grocery store. The sun went down behind the buildings and took all the colors with it. "Good timing," Mom said. "Dinner's almost ready." Louis was wrestling on the floor with Pepito. Sophia opened the refrigerator door. Pepito peeked inside. Sophia's fridge was full of milk and eggs and tortillas and cheese and lettuce and jam and salsa and tofu and even half a can of dog food. "Here you go," Mom said. Sophia and Louis each had a plate of fish and rice. Mom had a plate of fish and rice. Even Pepito had his own dog food with a little bit of fish and rice. Maddi and Ryan only had some bread and a small carton of milk. Sophia couldn't tell Mom. She had to keep her promise to Maddi. "Not fish again," Louis said. "I want cheesy pizza bombs." "Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat," Mom said. "Fish is a good source of protein." "Ugh, fish? Is that good for kids?" Sophia asked. "Yes," Mom smiled. "Fish is perfect for kids." That night, Sophia had an idea. "Yuck," Maddi said the next day. "Oh, double yuck," Sophia said. "Fish may be good for kids, but fish is not good for backpacks." After school, Sophia and Maddi raced to the climbing wall. Sophia got there first, but Maddi scrambled past her to the top of the wall. Sophia stretched and stretched. "Keep trying," Maddi said. "You'll get it." "Ugh, I can't." Sophia jumped down. "It's too high." That night, Sophia, Louis, and Mom ate frittata. Pepito had dog food with a little bit of frittata. Maddi and Ryan, they still had an empty refrigerator. Sophia couldn't ask for help. That would break her promise. She had to try again. "Are eggs good for kids?" Sophia asked. Not as good as cheesy pizza bombs," Louis said. "Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat," Mom said. "Eggs are good for you." After dinner, Sophia packed eggs for Maddi and Ryan. Yuck, Maddi said. Double yuck, Sophia said. Eggs may be good for kids, but eggs are not good for backpacks. Sophia and Maddi raced to the climbing wall. Sophia won again, but Maddi shot past her to the top of the wall. Sophia grabbed one hold, reached for the next, and came down with a thump. That happens sometimes, Maddi called. This is impossible, Sophia said. Just keep trying, Maddi said. You'll get it. That night, Sophia, Louis, and Mom had burritos. Pepito had his dog food with a little bit of burrito, but no salsa. Maddi and Ryan still had an empty fridge. Sophia wished she hadn't promised Maddi. Are burritos good for kids? Sophia asked. Burritos are very good for you, Mom said. Not as good as, Louis started to say. You should pay attention to nutrition like your sister does, Mom said. The next morning, Sophia put 2 burritos in her backpack along with tortillas, beans, cheese, and even some milk. No thanks, Maddi said. You haven't even looked, Sophia said. Well, is it fish? Maddi asked. No. Is it eggs? No. Is it gross? I don't know, Sophia said. Maddi shook the backpack. Something sloshed around. Let's look together, Maddi said. 1, 2, 3, go. Burritos are good for kids and good for backpacks, too. Do you want some milk? Sophia asked. Thanks, but I'll save the milk for Ryan, Maddi said. Sophia and Maddi raced to the climbing wall. Sophia won as usual and tried to climb. You can do it, Maddi said. Take my hand. Woohoo! I made it to the top, Sophia shouted. We're the tallest kids in the park, Maddi said. Thanks for helping me, Maddi. I couldn't do it alone. Maddi shrugged. Well, that's what friends are for. After they finished playing, Sophia walked home past the bookstore and the grocery store. Her own fridge was full of milk, juice, chicken, yogurt, bread, and carrots, and even half a can of dog food. She thought and thought and thought. Maddi's fridge only had 2 tortillas and a cup of beans and a bit of cheese and a little more milk. Sophia didn't want to break her promise, but she couldn't help Maddi alone. Sophia told she hoped Maddi wouldn't be mad at her. I'm glad you told me, Mom said. Let's see what we can do together. They loaded grocery bags with milk, flour, chicken, carrots, sugar, oil, and even frozen meat and vegetables. Louis pulled his package of cheesy pizza bombs out of the freezer. He thought and thought some more. Then he put his cheesy pizza bombs in Maddi and Ryan's bag. For a treat, he said. At Maddi's apartment, the moms talked. Louis and Ryan played. Sophia and Maddi ran to the park. You broke your promise, Maddi said. I'm sorry. Are you mad at me? Sophia asked. A promise is important, Maddi said. You're more important, Sophia said. I wanted you to have milk too. Maddi smiled. Are we still friends? Sophia asked. Always, Maddi said. Double always, Sophia said. Cheesy pizza bombs, Louis yelled. Our moms made cheesy pizza bombs for a treat. Sophia and Maddi raced up the stairs. Sophia slowed down so they could run together, because that's what friends are for.